A lot of, understanding what makes a good story. The way Hollywood used to tell good stories, starting with silent movies, when there were just a few subtitles to help you from time to time, where the visual arts were explosive and very direct and really led you to an emotional reaction and a huge climactic ending without any words at all. And then how when films first found their voice, they all sounded like plays until Howard Hawks decided to make everybody talk faster and throw in a couple of fantastic graphic visuals and start to use composition. So my whole love for this media comes from paying attention to the past and respecting all the movies that have been made over all of these years. And that's what I say to film students.
Welcome to Inexpert Film Advice, where I give my inexpert advice on film and filmmaking. I'm your host, Deontay Jenkins. That was a film expert. I am not directing. It's my favorite aspect of the filmmaking process, but it's definitely the most difficult. Now, how do you become a great director? Well, you start with the basics, of course. What are the basics, you ask? Well, that's what we're going to be discussing today. Here's my inexpert advice on directing. Alright, here is my first piece of advice. Prepare yourself. Even if you decide later on to go off the path that you prepared for yourself, preparation helps things go a lot easier and a lot smoother. Preparation can be rehearsing with your actors. It can be storyboarding and pre-visualizing all of your shots. It can be as simple as rereading your script just in case you miss something or you just need a refresher. Look, the bottom line is prepare. Prepare in every way possible and everything will go much smoother. That's it. Moving on. My second piece of advice is to know your script. Now, this goes hand in hand with preparation, but I wanted to go a little bit deeper into it. You should know your script backwards and forwards so you can always know what's coming up next. What I mean by that is you should know every part of the story so that you can always tell your story correctly. Every minute of the film should be setting up for the next piece of the story. The script is a story. If you don't know the story, how can you tell the story? Your knowledge of the story should affect every decision that you make, every sound that we as an audience will hear, every image that you give us. It should be to build upon the story. I'm just saying, it makes logical sense. Know your script better than anybody else knows your script because you are the one telling the story. Here we go. Number 3. Study acting. What? Study acting? Why? I'm a director. You shut your mouth and you shut it now. One of the biggest parts of the directing job is to coach actors along to the performance that you want to get from them. Now, this is not something that every director does. This is not something that's necessarily necessary. However, I found after I took a number of acting classes, my communication with my actors was a little better. My knowledge of the acting process was a little better. Therefore, it was much easier for me to get what I wanted out of my actor. I just feel like in many ways, a director's job is to teach the actors what they want. Not to teach them how to act necessarily, but to teach them what they want. And you can't really teach somebody something that you don't know how to do yourself. You can take an acting course at a community college. You can join your local acting troupe and study what they're doing. It's really good just to know the process from the inside out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch movies. First off, if you're not in love with movies, I don't know why you're doing this in the first place. One of the best things to do to teach you how to do anything in the filmmaking industry is to watch movies.
Watch movies.
But don't just watch them, analyze them. Really see what it is you're feeling and why you're feeling that way and how the filmmaker made you feel that way. Directing is nothing but a little bit of manipulation mixed with good storytelling. If you can figure out how to make somebody feel whatever it is you want them to feel, then you've figured out how to tell a story. And directors are storytellers and blah 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 blah. Watching movies should almost be religious for you. Personally, I watch a film a day, but I understand that everybody doesn't have a flexible schedule like me. However, whenever you have free time, you should be using that time to watch a movie and learn a little more. Quick side note, I'm going to be making a video on how to properly watch and analyze a film. It may be next week, it may not be, I don't know yet, but that should help you along with watching and understanding films. Since you're watching a lot of movies, or you're going to be watching a lot of movies from now on, this is a piece of advice that you need to keep with you. Pay homage, don't steal. The films that you watch are going to be ingrained into your brain, and you're going to look to them for inspiration. But you can't completely rip off something another artist has already done. Now, what's the difference between paying homage and stealing? Well, to be honest, paying homage is a form of stealing. It's taking something somebody has already done and putting your own twist to it. Just straight up stealing is taking exactly what they did, word for word, shot for shot, or pretty much word for word and shot for shot, and recreating it. There's nothing wrong with giving a little shout out to the people that influenced you, but make sure you're building upon what they did rather than just doing the same. This is a fun one. Learn photography. No matter how much film has changed over the years, it's still at its very core a visual storytelling medium. Learning photography will help you with the composition and framing, which will help you tell your story a little better. It helped me at least. You have to make sure what you're showing the audience is telling a story. Your visual storytelling should be to the point where if somebody turned the sound off on your film, they should still essentially get what's going on. Framing and composition is a big part of that. And all photographers do is frame and compose to make you feel. If you can make somebody feel with just an image alone, then you're really starting to understand filmmaking. Take for instance this shot in my up-and-coming film To a Curtain Call. Framing it this way gives you a totally different feel from framing it this way. Now, this is something that I personally hate doing myself, but it makes you better. Watch your own films. I know, I hate it. I don't want to see how bad I used to be. I only want to progress and move forward. But hear me out. Looking at your old films lets you see the habits and tendencies that you developed over the years. The most fresh and innovative idea can become stale and cliche if you continuously use it. Watching your old films will help you point out those crutch areas where you tend to lean and rely on to tell your story. It'll also help you point out some of your storytelling weaknesses that you can build on. You want to continue to grow and you don't want to do the same old crap over and over. Next piece of advice is to study other art forms. Now, in my opinion, film is the greatest art form there is. And that's because it takes elements from every other art form to make something new. Studying things outside of cinema will give you a good bit of inspiration to draw on. A lot of filmmakers look at paintings and sculptures when they're trying to develop a feel for their film. Art is in everything, and film is a collage of everything. Honestly, I don't even know if that made sense. Just study other art forms, it'll help you out. Next piece of advice, I don't know what number we're on. I'm gonna say 9, maybe? Don't be afraid to try and fail. In my eyes, there's no such thing as failure. I've learned from everything I've failed at, and trust me, you'll do the same. So don't be afraid to try things just because you think you'll fail at them. You can make a 1 minute, 30-second short film with a completely new idea that you've never tried before, and it'll show you whether or not you can do it or whether or not you need to work on it. Trying new things is the only way we as artists can grow. I remember my first feature film. I did it just because I wanted to see if I could do it. And to my surprise, I made a coherent film that was watchable from start to finish. Now, was it good? Meh. But it gave me the confidence to move on to my next project, and it also impressed the film company so much so that they co-produced my next film. That would have never happened if I hadn't tried, and in some ways failed. Okay, this is the last thing I got for you. Be a jack of all trades and you'll master one. The director is the storyteller. You are the painter and your film is the painting. Now, you're taking a lot of different elements to create your film. But if you don't know anything about these other elements, somebody else will be in full control of a portion of your vision. A director should be knowledgeable in every aspect of the filmmaking process. That way they can give their opinion and express what they want. That way you can also avoid letting someone else be in control of a portion of the story that you should be telling. You're the storyteller, you tell the story. And knowing a little bit of everything ensures that your vision is the one that's being produced and not someone else's. Alright guys, that's all I got for you on this week's edition of Inexpert Film Advice. Give this video a like if it helped you out. If you have anything that you want my inexpert advice on, you can drop a comment below or mention me on Twitter. My social media handle is here. And also in the notes below. But before we go, let's go over my inexpert advice one more time. Prepare, know your script, learn acting, watch movies, pay homage, don't steal, learn photography, watch your films, study other art forms, try and fail, and be a jack of all trades and you'll master one. Alright guys, this is Deontay Jenkins with Inexpert Film Advice. Be sure to tune in next week, like and subscribe, and see you next time!